it's Rachel, and today I'll be showing you what we received in the March Sophie Toffee Elves Box, as well as showing you how to make this bunny bezel charm. I'll leave all the links and information about the subscription box down below in the description for you to check out. So in this box we received some UV resin in the clear soft type. This means that it stays slightly flexible after curing. We also got 2 deco saucers, 6 different silver open bezel charms, 1 set of metal design pieces, 9 containers of iridescent glitter all in different shapes, a pack of real pressed flowers, and in my box I received some 4-leaf clovers, and then finally a sheet of 3D design film from Japan. So to make my bezel charm, I started off by taking some packaging tape and sticking it to the back of my bezel so that I could fill it with resin. I then took some baking paper to mix my resin on, and then this first batch is for the colour of the bunny. I decided to use some old eyeshadow as my pigments because I wanted something that had a bit of a shimmer to it, and I didn't really have any Pearl X pigments. So I just scraped some of this white pearly colour and mixed it all into the resin with a toothpick. I then added a few different glitters and mixed those in as well before pouring the resin into the bezel. For the teacup part of my chosen bezel, I decided to go for a nature-y kind of look. So for the first layer of the sky, I created a subtle gradient by colouring some of the UV resin with a very light blue pigment and putting this in the top half of the teacup, and then in the bottom half I poured in some of the just clear plain resin towards the bottom. All of this resin I'm using right now, by the way, is the hard type resin, which I already had, and I'll show you later on when I use the soft type. It's still perfectly fine to use the soft type here as well, but I just chose not to. At this point I cured this first layer of resin. This can be done using a UV torch or lamp, or you can also place it in the sun like I am here. The drying time will depend on the thickness and how strong the UV light is, but it should only take around 10 to 15 minutes at the most. Once the resin has hardened, you can then peel off the tape from the back. I then poured in another layer of resin to the teacup part of my bezel and spread it around to the edges using my toothpick. To this layer I added most of my details, including one of the clovers, some glitter, and then a mixture of real soil and polymer clay sand to get the nature-y look that I was going for. I then went ahead and cured that layer, and I actually sat it out in the sun, and as it was hardening I decided to work on the 3D butterflies. So to make the butterflies, firstly cut out the pieces from the design film that you're wanting to use, then take the piece and bend it inwards so that the wings turn up. I then place my little butterfly on some blue tack for the next part so that it's easier to apply the resin. Here I'm using the soft type resin so that when it cures the butterfly's wings will still be slightly flexible. I scooped up some of the resin onto my toothpick and then coated each of the wings and then let them cure. I also coated the back and then let that cure under UV light as well. Next I went and got my bezel, which had finished curing in the sun, and I spontaneously decided to paint a face on the bunny. I wasn't at all planning to do this, but when I looked at it I thought it would add a really nice kawaii touch. I used acrylic paint and added all the details using my dotting tool and needle tools. Once the paint had dried, I then added my final layer of UV resin to both sections of the bezel. To this layer I added all of my finishing touches and details. I placed on my 3D butterflies and positioned them with my toothpick. I also added in a few of the little metal butterfly pieces and then covered resin over the top of these so that they would stay in. And then once again I cured the piece with UV light. I didn't end up filming it, but I also domed the back of the bezel as well. And here is what my finished bezel charm looks like. I think that the film to make the butterflies worked really well and was something new to try. It also adds a really cool 3D effect to what would usually be a flat piece. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a big thumbs up and subscribe to my channel for more. Don't forget to check out all the information down below if you're interested in learning more about Sophie and Toffee and their subscription boxes. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye guys!